Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. Well, every year around Thanksgiving, I like to put out a Christmas guitar lesson. I've been doing that since the site started, and I do it at Thanksgiving so you have enough time to learn it and be able to play it for somebody around the holidays if that's what you want to do. And so this year, we're going to take a look at the song, What Child Is This? I love that melody. I've always loved that melody. It's just a beautiful song, sounds great on its own. And we're going to be playing this with a pick. I thought about doing it fingerstyle, but I thought this could be a really cool lesson if you learn how to play the chords and then pick the melody out of the chords. And so that's what we're going to be doing. And it's fairly easy to do. These are just basic chords. So I've got the lesson split into two parts. In this video, we'll take a look at the first half of the song. If you'd like to watch the second video, which covers the second half, and get the tablature for this, you can go to ActiveMelody.com, go to the lessons page, and do a search for EP232. Alright, so I have two goals for you in this lesson. The first is that you learn how to play the song, but maybe more important than that is that you learn how to do this on your own. So you learn how to take a song that you know the chords to, and you're able to pick the melody out. So you can create these little solo compositions. Works great with a pick, it works great fingerstyle, you can do it either way. And it's really not that difficult to do, so I'm going to be talking through that as we go through this. Now this song, What Child Is This? It's actually Greensleeves, that's the original melody. And then later down the road, somebody put lyrics to it. I don't know the whole story, but anyway, it's the same song. So actually you're learning two songs. You're learning Greensleeves and What Child Is This? Beautiful melody. And when the first thing you have to do when you're creating a composition like this is find what key you want to do it in. And I started with an E minor. And it just didn't work out because there wasn't enough open strings. What I look for when I'm creating something like this is where can I wouldn't do it in a key up here, for example, because you're trying to bar and you just don't have enough open strings to take advantage of. But I looked at A minor and I noticed that I have all these little open strings that I can use, and so that's why I settled on that one. You could do it in any key, but it makes more work if you're trying to bar and compensate for, where the nut is on your guitar. So take advantage of those things. If nobody's singing, there's no vocalist, you can do it in whatever key you want, right? So I started this in A minor, and then what I did was I walked from the A minor up to the relative major of A minor, which is C. But you'll hear this song done differently. If you listen around, go on YouTube and type in Greensleeves, you can find different versions of it. Some people would just stay on the A minor. They wouldn't go to the C chord, so it'd sound like this. And that's right too. I mean, either way. I just didn't listen to anything. I went straight from what was in my head. And I had heard a version where somebody goes from that minor to the major. It just sounds very cool. You can obviously play the same melody on top of it. So once you determine the key that you want to do it in, then you got to work out the chords. And so that was my next step, was just in my head I was kind of working out the chords. Like if I were singing it, what would I'd be playing behind that. Sounded like this. And I just kept repeating that until I had the chords down. Once you have the chords down, then you can start the scientific process of playing a melody on top of that. And the reason I say scientific is there's not as much art in that, and you really you have to stick to the melody, so you have to work that out. That's a hard thing to improvise. I don't know many people that could just improvise something like that. So I looked at the melody line. That was the first thing I wanted to work out. I actually played it up here too, just to see if it was any easier to play an A minor up here and work out the melody. So you got to play around with it. So the way that I started this was I made an A minor chord down in first position, played the first note of the melody, which is a pickup note. So it happens right there, that's the third string. And then the next note in the melody is this, so I can add the full chord with that, so it sounds like this. Now notice I'm not playing the one string with that chord. I'm trying to just hit strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. Now if you happen to hit the one string, it's okay because it's part of the chord, but to really make that melody stand out, you're wanting to single in on that note. Now, the next thing that I played was a walk up to the C chord that I mentioned, that major, relative major chord. So after that A minor, what I did was I put my pinky on the 3rd fret 2nd string and my middle finger on the 2nd fret 5th string. I'm also playing the same 4 strings, 5, 4, 3, and 2. And really what that is, that's a G chord. If you think of this G chord voicing, you're just playing 5, 4, 3, and 2. But you don't need the rest of your fingers, you just need these two. And you only hit it for a second as a transition to get you from that to the C. And then I just go to a C chord and I'm playing strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. The top part of that chord. So from the beginning we have so you can already hear that melody coming out. Okay, the next part goes. And by the way, I just worked out that melody by ear. I mean, you should be able to do that. You should be able to pick single string melodies out by ear. If not, you could look it up, in notation somewhere, but that's what I did. So, once I'm holding that C chord, I can take this index finger off and come up to the F string, or F note rather, 1st string, 1st fret, and I do a pull off. I hit it, and then I flick it as I take my finger off. So from the beginning, play that, and then my pinky goes back to the 3rd fret 2nd string, and now I'm playing the G chord. I'm playing a little more of it. So now I've got these 2 fingers just like we did before, but I've got my ring finger in there as well, which is on the 3rd fret 6th string. And I'm playing 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. So, from the beginning, you can hear that melody. Now the next thing that happens is 2 open strings, the B string and the G string, which are in this E minor chord, so it works out really well. And the way that I played it was like this. Strum that chord, just hit the open B string, went ahead and made the E minor. Look at how I'm making the E minor though, with these 2 fingers, ring and middle, and you'll see why. And then when I played that note in the melody, that open G string, I threw in string 6, 5, 4 along with it. So you're playing 6, 5, 4, and 3. Alright, so now we have hear that melody coming out? Now from here, again, I'm just working out the melody. I know the next chord is an F, although in some versions it would be an A minor. You could do either one. I ended up with the F. So to get to that F, and this is why I use these 2 fingers, I found it easier to have my pinky come in here on the 2nd fret 2nd fret 3rd string to play that, and then hit that open 2nd string. Now we have that open string. Again, this is why those open strings are important. It allows me to take my hand off the fretboard and come up here and play this F chord. And for that, I'm barring all 6 strings on the 1st fret, and then these 3 fingers are making up the E chord shape. And when I play it, I'm going to play string 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. Try not to hit that 1 string, because that note is in the melody. And then watch this. So then I hit the 3rd string, and then played the chord up to the 3rd string. And that's really cool because I can just keep the bar down and just take my middle finger off and then put it back on. Both those notes are on the 3rd string. So from here, from the F, we have. And then I come down to the E chord. So this is just the same chord. You could even slide it down this way, if that makes it any easier. But you just play the E chord, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. And then you play 3 and 4. And that's the whole, really the whole kind of verse. So let's start back from the beginning. repeat it. So after that, I go right back to that A minor position, which is convenient because it's just the same shape. We just slide everything up a set of strings. And then we repeat it. The difference happens right here. The second time it goes. So we have this F. And here's what I'm doing. I'm playing, I know the melody goes like this, but I've got this whole bar here, so what I'm gonna have to do is, if you can watch my hand here, watch the bar. I lift it up. So I keep these fingers in place, but I lift the bar up so that I can hit that open B string. It's easier to do than it looks. It looks complicated, but it's not. And that way I can hit the open B string and then the third string, which is behind this note in the chord. And then I go back down to the E. This is probably the hardest part in the whole thing, is you're going to have to use your pinky to stretch, keep the E chord down, stretch up to the 4th fret, 4th string, so that you can hit that note. So you have, and then back to the A minor, and you hit it twice. Now there's a second part to that, which I'm going to save for part 2. And for those of you that are fingerstyle players, you might think about playing it like this. You know, something where you keeping the fingers in motion, just kind of noodle around with it. But that's an idea for how you might do that. Okay, let me back up and play through this one more time slowly so you have the whole first part, and then I'll see you in part 2. And make sure you check out Premium Membership if you haven't. You get lessons like this every week. I go into lots of detail, and my whole goal is to teach you how to play, not just memorize songs, but to actually play and write your own compositions and improvise. All right, here we go from the beginning.